It's been a while, so let's do another top 5.
Dun, dun, dun.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Failing today. Failing, guys. I'm only on 4 hours. I have to get to 8. It's already 8 o'clock. I should be done with this water.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a sequel-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah,
I'm Drew.
and we are back with a top 5. And we haven't done one in forever, and I don't even remember the last time we did one. So, Chat.
Maybe a year ago.
Chat, let us know. Go back on the podcast and look when our last
Will,
top 5 was.
Leviathan, we're looking at you.
It might have been like our musical themes or something like that.
Oh, I remember that one. That was a good one.
Well, you better remember it because you were there.
Huh?
I remember because I ruined your top one.
Yeah.
That was funny. But yes,
wow.
So we're doing top 5 things done. Well, how did I word it? I can't remember how I worded it. I gotta go back and look at my message to you because like the wording is very specific because we gotta like make sure. So top 5 things the sequel trilogy did well.
Correct.
So, I'm always going to defend the good things of the sequel trilogy. Too many people have just given up on it and hate it and all that jazz. But I think that there's plenty of good things in the trilogy that are just the content of the movies as well as things that it adds to the overall Star Wars experience. So I think Drew and I's lists are going to be very different in how we interpret this question.
Yeah.
So, Drew, you were telling me beforehand, but how are you going to interpret this top 5?
Yeah. So when you prompted the question to me, I was viewing it as like, what are like the top 5 things that when I think of this trilogy, I either remember and I laugh, or I get a lot of enjoyment, or what makes me want to go back to those episodes and like watch them. That's how I viewed it, and like, I mean, I think you are viewing it more as like a cinematic or like certain moments maybe, and mine is kind of similar to that, but it's like certain character development or scenes or something like that.
Right. Yeah. So I'm kind of more. My list is more how it makes Star Wars better, like how our overall view of Star Wars is bigger and better than it was before the trilogy. Now I had 4 ones that were easy for me to put down. My 5th one, it was hard for me, so that's kind of like my cop out, but it's still a good one. So we definitely have.
Do you have any like? Okay, I don't have any like honorable mentions. Do you?
Maybe as we discuss things, maybe something will
We'll
come
find
up.
some.
We'll find something, but
yeah. And Jerica, no, my number 1 is not Broom Boy. Okay, let's just say that right now. That is not something that I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go back to episode 8 so I can watch that in sequence. That is not a thing that I even think about. So,
but yeah, so our top 5s are some of our most viewed episodes, apart from like episodes of like episode breakdowns and stuff. But
people love our breakdowns,
right? But
we must be doing something right.
We do. Like we get a ton of view or listens and views for those. But also we did a lot of top stuff like early on, and so
you think it like developed or
people, when they start listening to the podcast, they go all the way to the back, and then they kind of like see all these top 5s that we did. And I think they just kind of, I want to see top 5 this, top 5 that, and so they listen to that. So hopefully we can get some good viewership on this episode.
I think this one will like Jeremiah just randomly brought it up, and I was like, you know what, we haven't done a top 5 in a while, and also with that, yeah, change up a little bit. We finished.
Last summer I was like talking with people in the Discord, like David, Andrew, and some other people, and I was like, yeah, we gotta do top 5 Padme outfits.
Oh God.
Because there's some crazy outfits, but we all know what our number ones are, so there's no need
Yeah.
to. But anyway,
Okay. Next
Drew,
question.
do you want to start off with your number 5 for what the sequel trilogy did well?
Yes. After looking at my list,
Are you changing it?
no.
Doing a audible.
No. I was just looking at my list. I'm like, oh, 3 out of the 5 are all from the last movie, which is kind of interesting. And then my last 2 are from from 8.
Ooh.
So I'm just gonna put that out there right now.
Oh.
One of y'all, once I say, you're gonna be like, really? So letting y'all know, one's from 8, and then one of them is also from the
first 7, episode 7.
Episode 7. So
all right, so number 5, Drew.
My number 5 is Palpatine.
Okay.
So for me, the way they brought Palpatine back, I know a lot of people don't like that. I really love that development of his character in the sense of the whole cloning aspect. I actually enjoy that. I think it's
right.
For me, that's something I was kind of predicting, and I kind of wanted something similar to that. And there's also a lot of ties now looking at it potentially with Grogu, and we might even, I don't know if we'll get any more of that. It's kind of like something part of the Mandalorian show that kind of got left behind. It almost seems like at this point, it seems like the show is shifting a lot more towards Mandalore and the development of Mandalore instead of this whole developing how Palpatine was getting cloned essentially, and how they're pulling Grogu's metachlorians and stuff for that. It's interesting. I was thinking about that when I was making my list. I'm like, oh yeah, are they even gonna come back to that, or is that just gonna be something in the past? So
I think it might be just little Easter eggs, but I think we'll get some stuff from the Bad Batch too.
You think we're gonna get anything Kenobi?
No.
Okay.
All right, so Palpatine is.
So yeah, I like Palpatine.
5.
I thought the whole concept of him coming back, some people hated it. In hindsight, I think when they announced that at Star Wars Celebration, everyone
trailer,
loved it.
Laughing at the end.
Everyone was freaking out, going crazy. And now in hindsight, if you ask all those people in that room, over half of them probably hate it.
I think the thing is people like that they brought him back, but they didn't like how they just kind of posed line. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Oh yeah.
There wasn't a developed story.
Correct.
It was just very quick. Oh yeah, he just.
And all of my things, the intro scroll is not going to be on my list for all 3 of these movies. I can just tell you guys
that's
right
not
now.
the thing.
So hey, I don't know.
Because
Some of those
that's not unique to the sequel trilogy. So
true, but I'm implying that the development for all the beginning of these movies were not the best. I mean, 7 was okay, but 8 was. I mean, we already knew what we were getting into, so we didn't even think there was going to be a scroll, and then yeah, 8 was oh, Palpatine's here, and he yelled at all of us through the force in the world or something, whatever it was.
The radio.
The radio.
On everyone
on
turns on the radio.
Go to FM right now because Palpatine's talking. So not AM.
I feel like Palpatine would went on XM though.
Yeah, but then some people would have to pay for it. And then there'll be people like you that refuse to pay for XM, even though everyone's doing it, and then you would have never heard Palpatine's response.
I'm fine.
That's fair. But
as long as I wasn't on Kijimi, it was perfectly fine. Wasn't that the only planet that he destroyed? With the Star Destroyers, the Super Star Destroyers with the big cannon?
Yes.
He only destroyed one planet?
Yeah.
Kijimi. So as
But
long as I
what
wasn't
was
on that planet, then Palpatine had
yeah,
no effect on my
that's
life.
fair.
So
But also, like, how many planets did they kill in episode 7? It's not like a whole
well, it's Hosnian Prime,
system.
which is like one main planet and then like some smaller like moons around it. So it's like there's a lot of people, but it was just like one little
Yeah.
spot.
It was like what the
And
Death Star did like
that
4
was
times.
that was Star Killer base, so you can't really. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah, but wasn't Palpatine controlling the whole thing?
Supposedly, kind of a little unclear on that, but
Well, we'll probably never know. But
anyway,
all
all right. So
right, you're
Palpatine's
number
return.
5.
My number 5. This is my cop out. I'm not really happy with it, but I'm gonna put it on there. I liked that we got some new musical themes from John Williams that are very memorable.
Oh,
So
why is that? Why don't you like that? That's actually a really good one.
because like
After you hear my number 4, I probably should switch that, but to like something
well,
like
just
that.
because it doesn't, because we already had John Williams. We already knew that he did great music, so like it's not a surprise.
True.
But my other ones are more. I think they improved upon things, whereas John Williams has always been great, so it's like not an improvement. But he did add some new themes. So like Ray's theme, which is amazing, and now I
True.
think Andrew had her theme in his top 5 actually. And then you had Kylo Ren's. He had a couple themes, main themes, and then like in 9 he had like what's like a
rendition
of his main one where it was more of
Palpatine's.
a kind of transition more from, rather than Kylo Ren's theme, they tweaked it so it sounded more light side, so he was more like Ben's theme. So like so and then like the Resistance has their own theme too. So like I love, like we've talked about the music of Star Wars and how it's like the breath of Star Wars. You take away the music, then Star Wars dies.
Yeah.
Like the music is very, very important to what Star Wars is and has become today. So I always like think of the musical themes from episode 7, 8, and 9, and just I'm always like, dang, John Williams is so good.
He's the GOAT.
He is the
For
GOAT.
sure.
And he's still alive. And
he's still the GOAT.
I think he's retired now, but he did do.
But he came back for
stuff
Kenobi.
for
So.
Kenobi. So I think he wrote a new theme for the show. So he didn't do the music, but he did like wrote like the main theme or something that the composer is using. So
yeah,
that's cool. And so John Williams, he's great. John Williams, if you're listening, sponsor us. Give us a shout out on Twitter. I don't know if you
give
have
us
Twitter.
one song.
Yeah, give us our own Empire Radio theme song.
Would you cry if you did that?
I don't know. I have to listen to it.
I would cry. I would cry. I think half the chat would cry. Jerica, I'm looking at you. I know you'd cry.
Why are you always talking about Jerica in the chat?
Because she's the most active in the chat.
Okay.
Besides Will and says goodbye with them. But she just wrote something. So I was like,
all right. So that's my number 5. New musical themes, always very memorable, and I love the new themes.
See, and Jericho responds when I say stuff because she just said, "I would die happy." See, there you go.
Well, that's good to know, Jerica, that you would die happy if we got our own John Williams theme song.
It's loyal fan right there.
All right, Drew. What is your number 4?
All right, I'm ready for the chat to
Uh-oh.
blow me up. My number 4 is something that makes me laugh a lot, and we use it quite a bit. It's a saying.
Oh,
they fly now.
Really?
Yeah, that's my number 4. It's fun. It's stupid.
One of the things that made that the Star Wars trilogy did well is they had the line, "They fly now."
Yeah, because I think it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense because I don't know. It's hilarious to me, and it's just like a running theme throughout Empire Radio too, which always makes me happy when I think when that happens. Everyone like right now the chat's all blowing it up.
Basically that line has made great memories for you, and without
Correct.
that, oh, okay,
And a lot of what I associate Star Wars with are great memories. You know what I mean? Like
right,
it's not I don't like always analyze Star Wars as a breakdown. I also like when did I watch this? Like what brought why did I like this scene? Or like the first 3 movies like 4, 5 and 6 are my favorite not because they're the best movies, it's just because of I grew up with that. Like there's a lot of memories with that. And so
right,
Star Wars is not I'm not going to Star Wars and like critiquing and breaking it down like the way I did like the Batman movie or like something like that. Like it's more of like Star Wars always brings happiness or story to me, especially with the podcast too. It makes it even more intense.
right.
Like we always talk about Star Wars all day, like every week. So it's like it's a little different. So yeah, like They Fly Now is a running joke, and anytime anything ever happens like that, we say it, and we always laugh. Andrew hates it. It's just a funny thing, and so yeah, I think they did that well for me. So that's my number 4.
All right, cool. All right, so my number 4 is I like how they added interactive lighting with the lightsabers, meaning when you're holding a lightsaber, it
Mm-hmm.
shines on your face and on your body and on the
Oh
environment.
yes, 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 yes.
Because in all the other movies, it's not either it's not there at all or it's not even that like not that much. But like I'm just thinking like um, at the end of the Force Awakens
Mm-hmm.
when Rey, Finn, and Kylo are all using the lightsabers, like it's dark out, it's snowy, and it's all the whole environment is lit up by these
By
laser
the
swords,
lightsabers,
and
yeah,
like
and like
that
Kylo's
makes
face is all
sense,
red, and yeah, it's really cool.
and it's just and like and like when the movie came out around that time or before the movie came out, they had like people were doing their Facebook profile pictures of like
Mm-hmm.
it would add it on, it would like shine on the face too,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so like I think that that's important for Star Wars moving forward is that they made the lightsabers seem more like
Like
part of
lights.
reality. Like it's not like something they added in post
Mm-hmm.
or with CGI. It's feels like it's actually
They made
there.
it
It's
more realistic
more
to like what's
realistic.
going on.
What would actually happen in real life, and so
Well,
I
like,
think that's important.
wasn't it an episode like the last 4 episodes, like one of the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars when they actually when like didn't Ahsoka use her lightsaber as like a light through those caves to find Maul, or
Kind of yes, I think.
like she turned it on so
No,
that she
no,
can
no, no. That
reveal?
that was in episode 9 when they fall into through the sand.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes, that's
That's
what it was.
because she turns it on as a lamp, and then
Mhm.
Poe has his flashlight that's like not working. It's just like
Yeah.
barely any light,
Yep.
and it's like shining through the dust, so it's like a still like a little line of light, but like it's nothing
Yeah.
compared to her lightsaber. So that's just that.
Yeah.
And then I
And
think there's a lot of stuff in the
like
Clone Wars show
that
too, like
always makes sense to me though. Like,
right,
and so I like that they actually use that in practical features as well. But like, besides just cutting people in half, um, hashtag episode 5 of Boba Fett. But besides that, like they're actually practical use as well for them, like as like a light, a tool essentially. So
right. And so
yeah,
it's all about the lighting.
true.
Makes all the difference in anything. It's like
Mhm.
when you study or not study, but like look into like CGI and
Or even like the way we like film.
right. It's like
Like
if
we
your
use
lighting is
light.
not correct, it looks terrible or unrealistic, and because you know we live our
Mhm.
life every day with lights, and the lighting is perfect and like how it interacts with your environment, and so if you
Mhm.
can't replicate that perfectly, we can just kind of say something's not right here. It just
Well,
doesn't make
and that's how
sense.
the deep fakes don't really work too. Is certain lightings it won't work because
Right.
it'll show that it's fake essentially.
And also, it's kind of like a little side thing with this lightsabers that they did. Like, um, also in episode 9, like when they're fighting on the Force or was it Death Star ruins. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's when the water is hitting the lightsaber, it's like interacting with the lightsaber. It's like
Oh,
flickering and
searing.
searing.
When
Like
was it rain or was it?
it was
Yeah,
rain,
rain. Yeah.
and so like just those minor details of that,
Mm-hmm.
like you might not notice it, but like it's more realistic, and like it's so realistic that you don't even realize that it's there because it's just what it
Because
should
it
be.
just makes sense to you.
Yeah, and if you're just in the snow or rainstorm and your lightsaber is just not doing anything different, like I want to like I should go back and look at Attack of the Clones when Obi-Wan fights Jango Fett on the
I was
landing
gonna
pad,
say that landing pad scene.
and like
Like,
see if they even did that with Obi-Wan's saber or not. Be interesting to look. But yes,
chat, help us out.
interactive lighting with the lightsabers is my number 4.
All right. Also, listeners, I don't know if you guys can hear, but there's a rainstorm right now. So if you hear a lot of thunder and stuff, it's not just
Yep, oh my gosh, I'm looking outside right now,
just
and
lightning all over the place.
it's like sideways rain.
Oh,
This is Will's like perfect sleeping sound right now. Like this is the rains
oh,
of Camino, and
that's fair.
it's going crazy outside right now. So
Yeah, I can just hear thunder in the background. So I'm just letting you guys know if you're like, what is that sound? It's the audio. It's not. I don't even know if our mics will pick it up, but I'm just letting you guys know.
all right,
You're
yep.
not driving in a rainstorm right now. People
All
are
right.
like listening to this in the desert, and then there's like, "Where's the thunder coming from?" All right. So
Drew, what's
my
your number
number
3?
three. My number three is also something that brings a smile to my face. Um, it is the last thing from episode 9. So for you haters, get in the comments. I only did 3 from 9. Okay. It is Babu Frick. That character himself is one of my favorite things. I love that character. He's hilarious. He reminds me of my wife's grandma because the way he talks is literally how she talks. Everyone in the chat right now is hey hey hey. And so yeah, I love Babu Frick. He's my favorite. Don't you still have my toy of Babu Frick?
Yeah, I keep forgetting. I still have your shirt too, your cufflink shirt.
Oh well, yeah, that's
I
fair.
think I have like something else of yours too around here. I don't know what it is, but
But yeah,
so
Babu Frick, I love him.
do you think that like overall the new characters and stuff in the sequel trilogy are memorable?
I think a lot of them are like I could just say this like an honorable mention. I think Maz is a really cool character,
All right,
and what they did with her character, how she was the one that actually found the lightsaber to give to Rey is actually really cool. That probably should be on my list besides They Fly Now. Like that's actually more important to the story and like it's a really cool development. And like we saw and we broke down I think it was like last week's like she there's even more times like she was the one to help uh Leia find her suit to free Han. Like so like some of these characters have a lot more meaning than what we just see in these 3 episodes. A lot of that has to do with they didn't know what they're doing, and then they're like, oh, let's just say this character was also here, and
right.
this character also did that. But if you don't hate on Disney too much and you actually just go with the flow of these characters, it's kind of cool. Some of them are really cool. So I think the Maz character is really cool, and I mean it's Chew's girlfriend, so we gotta be respectful, you know.
See, I'm trying to think of like all the characters that they added. Obviously, other than like
Well,
people from the
besides the
original
main ones,
trilogy, like I don't know. Like
Gray, Kylo.
I feel like I don't know. Like when you watch the original trilogy, like you get kind of you see people, and then you see like obviously in the cantina scene in episode 4, like you see all these crazy aliens, and that's
Mm-hmm.
but elsewhere it's kind of like you discover these new species, and it's kind of refreshing. And then like in the prequel trilogy, you get more immersed in that. Like I don't know, like
Yeah.
Kit Fisto and like people
Yeah.
on the Jedi uh, Council, like different species up there and stuff, where it's very memorable. But when I think of the sequel trilogy, I don't know, they're not really like you have like Canto Bite with all the different species, but I can't really think of anyone other than like that drunk one that was trying to get coins out of BB-8. Like I can't picture any other new species or unique species that come to mind. So it's like I don't know, like it's almost
Yeah.
like it was very generic. Maybe it's just because we're used to Star Wars having aliens that we don't like realize it anymore.
There's a lot of characters in Star Wars like alien species that like if they added, we don't really blink. Like we don't literally like try to figure it out. Like there's so many characters. Like for instance, like in the Boba Fett show, there's so many characters in that cantina or that club that like
Right.
we could sit there for we could literally break down just that one image of the club and try to name all of these 100 different alien species. If you guys want an episode of that, like you know what
No,
I mean, like they
I
probably.
thought that'd be cool to
But
do like a trivia, like a quiz of like we
oh,
see
I
a
would
picture.
fail, dude. I can't even name half the people I work with, and I work with 10 people.
I don't know.
So
I think I could do well with like a lot of the main like. There's probably like main 30 species that we're used to seeing. Like I feel like I could name a lot of those.
what's for instance, I have one. What is the name of the wolf species?
Oh, the werewolf. That's the only one I don't know. Like
Okay.
from the episode from the Katina.
Yeah.
Didn't that one get like CGI'd out though?
Oh,
I
did it?
think I think the original was like that werewolf face, and then I
Mm-hmm.
think they in the like the re whatever of it like they CGI put a CGI something over it, something different. But I don't remember what the wolf species is. But like
I don't either. I was just hoping you did. I
I
don't
don't.
know.
But
But there's like characters like that, or like what's the character? What's the skull character?
skull character?
Like it's literally just like a skeleton looking.
You mean the one from Rogue
A new,
One?
well, and it's also a New Hope, isn't it? In the cantina with the hood on, looks
The
like a
hood.
dead person.
Looks like a dead person.
Hmm.
Oh, that's from the first half of New Hope. I don't remember
Dude,
a lot of
that
that stuff.
okay. The cantina's a good part of a New Hope. Who shot first? You better get this right.
Well, depending on what version you watch, it's
Oh,
different.
okay. All right. Next question. What's your? Wait, is it my turn again?
No, you just did your number 3.
Okay.
So my number 3 is I like how they added sound to the use of the Force. So this is predominantly with Kylo Ren, where it's very memorable. Like when the one officer goes to tell that the freighter and BB-8 and Finn and Rey escape,
Mm-hmm.
like they just like add sound, like when he like force pulls
Yeah.
and chokes the guy, like you feel like a very like like low bass sound to it, and
Mm-hmm.
it and so like you could kind of think of it as you could interpret it as this is what everyone else in the room would hear, but I think of it more as like what the force user is like hearing or feeling in that moment.
Yeah.
So like Kylo, he feels that bass that's and hears that sound when he force chokes that guy, like pulls him in and chokes him. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's like other scenes throughout where like I don't know if it's as prominent with like Rey when she's doing things, but
Well, even when they're messing with Ray's head, there was like that noise.
oh yeah, yeah, I really like that too. That you feel that the force is actually something tangible being used and
Mm-hmm.
is actually there. Whereas, like, in other movies, it's just like you're just told that it's there and things just start moving and like people get choked. Like, it's not anything.
Yeah.
And so, adding that sound element where, if you have a good sound system, like you can feel the force being used while you're watching.
Around you.
Like that's like it's all around. It penetrates us, it surrounds us, like all that stuff. And so like, you know, that's why you always gotta make sure you got a good sound when you watch.
True. Sound is
What do
key.
you have on your TV? Do you always have a sound bar? What do you get?
I have a sound bar with a what's it called? Like a sound bar and a bass
A subwoofer.
subwoofer.
Yeah,
I used to not have a subwoofer.
Yeah,
But
I have my old 5.1 surround sound system. And
yeah.
it works really well still, even though I got it. It was funny. This was before I have my philosophy on finances when I bought it. Where
Which it pays off because you spent so much money then, and now you don't need to buy a new one right now. So
right, I still have the itch to
buy a new one.
upgrade and get a newer for 4K high def sound. But
Yeah, the one I have is like Samsung. I forget the number, but I can also add the other ones around it too. Like they're all Bluetooth connected.
Right.
So
yeah,
I got that one actually last Black Friday.
it's kind of sad
It was on
because
sale, but it wasn't a Black Friday item.
Because since I'm on the second floor of my apartment, like I'm
Mhm.
too afraid to turn my subwoofer on. So
That
I
makes
haven't.
sense because you don't want to get complaints.
I don't want to get complaints, and so I haven't watched anything with my subwoofer in like almost 3 years, which is sad. But
Yeah, that's a
I
bummer.
still have it right there. It's there if I ever want. I might have to turn it on for Stranger Things when it comes out.
Yeah, you might have to say risk it.
Risk it. Try and get that biscuit.
If you hear a broom hitting the ceiling, then you're like, all right.
Like, Broom Kid, is that you? Yeah. So anytime they expand upon like using sound to make things better, I'm always gonna love that. So the Force with sound. Now I hate if they try and like visualize the Force, like in fan films, like they'll like visualize a Force push or something. Like I don't like that because I don't want to see some. I don't want to see it physically because it is still invisible, but the sound makes it so that you can actually feel like it's a tangible thing without it being obvious type of thing. So that's my number 3. So Drew, what is your number 2?
My number 2. Sorry, I moved out of my list. My number 2 is the Force Ghost of Luke. And what I mean by that is more so that ending sequence battle in episode 8 when Luke wasn't
crate.
there. Yes, the crate battle thing.
So Force projection.
Correct. That's what I meant.
Not Force
say.
Ghost.
Yes. Force projection. I thought that was a really cool concept. We haven't seen it. When I watched it in theaters, I thought he was actually really there. Like it kind of like threw me off at first, and then also like what Jeremiah was saying, and similar with the light on the lightsaber. If you look back and watch it now, you can tell that he's actually not there because all the salt that everyone was stepping on made everything red underneath. Besides, when Luke was walking, there was no red underneath, so you knew that he wasn't actually physically there. Besides his appearance and how he didn't look like the last time we saw him, but I just thought that was really, really cool, and I really liked and enjoyed the way they built that character. And for me, when I watched that moment, it made it so Kylo wasn't redeemable because of how aggressive and how much he wanted to kill Luke. And that part still struggles with me because he was really adamant about trying to kill Luke in that scene. And so after the end of that movie, I'm like, there's no way they can redeem his character because how aggressive he was towards Luke. And somehow they still try to redeem his character. But I don't know. For me, I just liked that when I saw it, that was like one of the part in the movie that I really enjoyed that stood out with me. So when I talked about that movie right away, that was a part that I didn't really complain about, and I still don't. So
All right, cool.
Is that even on your list?
Force projection.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on what you mean. Depending on
Okay.
which on, I only got 2 left, but
That's true.
so my number 2 is more of a like interpretation of the overall Star Wars story. So I like that they added force healing to Star Wars. So now
Okay.
what I mean by that is not just specifically the ability to do force healing as
To
like a thing.
kiss and suck the life out of someone.
Like so stop. And so that better be in your top thing because you
that
talk
is
about that
fine.
more than anything.
That because I'm
But
angry. That doesn't bring me any joy at all.
but what I mean by the force healing is that when you look at the overall story, or I should say the prequel trilogy, um, Anakin thought that the only way to heal and save people's lives was through the dark side. And that's why he turned to the dark side because he wanted to save Padme from dying. But we learn that force healing is a light side ability, and we see that um, Ben Kenobi, or Ben Solo was able to heal Rey in a sense by giving up his life force for her and transferring his life force to her to save her life so she wouldn't die.
Mm-hmm.
And if Anakin learned this and knew that he could give up his life essence, his life force, or whatever, to save Padme if she were dying, he would have done that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like, and so it adds to the story of Anakin, even though it's just force healing. Like, okay, this is something cool that they added for the sequel trilogy. It's actually very much a bigger theme for the overall story of Star Wars because
Yeah.
the Jedi forgot, because we've talked a lot about how the Jedi, fell from their original purpose and philosophy, and they became political, and they lost their true identity of what they were supposed to be. And
Yeah.
part of that was, they had force healing, and like Rey learned that from the ancient Jedi texts, which were thousands of years old. And so one of the earliest things that the Jedi did was they used force healing, and the Jedi forgot that eventually. And if that was something that was still around and maintained,
Mm-hmm.
it would have changed how the Jedi would have done many things because they would have been out healing people.
Well,
Anakin would have already knew about it,
I was
and
gonna
he
say
wouldn't have feared the death of Padme because he knew he could save
exactly.
her life. And
That's the biggest
also,
thing I think that.
also Qui-Gon Jinn might not have died, and then he could have raised.
Oh, why would you have to say that?
It's just funny because like, like wasn't like Qui-Gon? What he has like? What did? Wasn't there something when he was dying? Like either he said or Obi-Wan said, like there's so much more to
I can
learn
learn
or to
from you.
teach. I don't know. I can't remember, but like
Yeah.
I don't know, like one little because
All you gotta
Qui-Gon
do is
Jinn
stick his
received.
hand in there. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, Kylo Ren took a lightsaber to the chest, and Rey healed him, which is basically the same injury that Qui-Gon had.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's
That could have been
annoying.
healed, and so like Qui-Gon could have been healed, like being killed by a
Yeah.
lightsaber, unless you're like cut in half, like
Hey,
you.
but even when you get cut in half, you just get fake legs. Hint
True, but
Maul.
he used the dark side to like keep himself from dying. That's what he said. So maybe Maul was the key to understanding how to keep your loved ones from dying. But I'm just saying, like, the idea of force healing and being able to save people's life by giving up your life force, like, it adds so much more to the fall of Anakin because it was there. He didn't have to turn to the dark side to save Padme, even though him turning to the dark side caused her to die. But
Yeah.
if he knew he could have saved her life, he would have done it in a heartbeat with force healing or giving up his life essence. And I think that this is a great thing that they put in. And now it's obviously they this kind of seemingly threw that in the last movie just for fun kind of type of thing. But it was still a very impactful thing for me and how I understand Star Wars. So that is my number 2.
That's a good one. I like that one. Any honorable mentions before we dive into?
Well, before we dive into
Ooh.
honorable mentions, we should definitely hear a word from our sponsor because
The real honorable mention.
Because what sponsor does coffee well? Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea.
Oh yeah.
They better be in your top 5 coffee makers of all time. It should be your number 1, right?
Should be your number 1. Better be your number 1. It's Jeremiah's number 1.
Yep. Folger's at number 2. So
Okay.
let's hear a word from Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code Empire Radio, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
All right. So we're at our number 1s, but before we do a number 1s, we should do some honorable mentions. Well, I guess I could have put this one. I should have put this on my top because you kind of mentioned it, but I think it's not really what the trilogy did well, like where at for like my interpretation, but I think the best thing in the trilogy is Kylo Ren and his story arc. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, Adam Driver's portrayal of him and his acting for the character is the best. Like, it's perfect for who he was in the movie, but also the story is also a very compelling story. I think it's very believable that he this what we learn about what happened between him and Luke when Luke was had the thought of killing him, and then Ben wakes up and how that was the last straw to turn to the dark side. And I think he just has an amazing story arc, and then how he gets redeemed at the end. Like, I'm kind of like, people get redeemed all the time. Like, there's always redemptions in all the movies. People always come by at the end and like, all right, sorry guys, like, I'm back, and there's healing and forgiveness and stuff like that. But it's like, I'm never really excited for those things.
Yeah.
In movies because it's so overdone. But here it was more believable, and I wouldn't even really say it was a redemption. Like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of hard to explain why I don't think it's a redemption, even though he turns away from the dark and becomes Ben Solo at the end again. But I should probably put that in my top 5. But that's a whole nother category of things we should talk about someday. A deep dive in Kylo Ren.
I think that'd be really cool.
I think there's like a video I watched. It was like a 45-minute video or something on YouTube of there's like a YouTube channel that's what is it, like a psychologist reacts or something like that,
Oh,
and like
that'd
a
be cool.
psychologist
Like
like
his
react,
breakdown of like the mental state of
yeah,
him.
like
Mm.
breaks down his entire story and like explains like the psychological things behind everything. And I thought, and then the same channel does some other cool things too, right? To talk about like Finn's story arc, like why, even though Finn seems to be kind of like what's thrown to the side, he still has like a really compelling structure to his story, though. But Kylo Ren, he's the best part of the whole trilogy, so I probably should have put it so
Yeah,
like
but
compelling villain.
yeah, I think he was a good villain. Parts I didn't really enjoy the elevator scene when he broke his helmet, but
Why?
um, I don't know.
He's a Skywalker. Skywalkers have tantrums, like, and are whiny and stuff like that. That's all Skywalkers. Luke did it. Anakin did it.
Yeah.
He did it. So
One of my honorable mentions was I don't really. It's kind of hard because kind of my honorable mention, but I also don't know if I enjoy it. But I'm gonna just say it because I think I enjoy it. The end scene of the whole thing when Ray is looking out into the two suns, I really liked the visual of that scene because it kind of wrapped up the whole thing for me. So I enjoyed that part. When she's on Tatooine, she's looking out and you can see the two suns.
right.
So
Starts on the trilogy starts on Tatooine, or the whole Star Wars story starts on Tatooine, and then it
Tatooine. So
ends on Tatooine.
well, yeah, ends. So yeah, I like that. Um, all right, you
So
ready?
that's your only honorable mention.
Yeah, that's my only one I can think of right now.
Just a side note, I think it'd be really cool if in the Kenobi series,
Mm-hmm.
if they have that old lady walking that animal, like we see her as a younger person. You know what I mean?
Oh
Because we just see
yeah,
this old lady, I'm like, she's definitely been there. She was there when Anakin was there, like as a kid,
dude.
little Annie.
Yes, heck yeah.
Like I want to see her just like whatever that was, it a Yuppie? Is that the name of that creature?
Mm.
Like just her talking to
To Obi-Wan.
Ben Kenobi in the desert. Like, who are you, Kenobi? Or Ben who? Ben Kenobi. It'd be just funny if they did that, something like that. But
That'd be cool. Or even if we probably won't, but I always enjoyed that one, the old lady that was like, "You better get home, Annie. The storm is coming." That lady was. I don't
what?
know why I always liked her. Remember in episode 1 when they're like buying the stuff and
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
really you don't remember that? I love that scene. That girl, that old lady. She's like, "You better get home, Annie. The storm is coming." And then she was like boarding up her shop and stuff. I always like that.
All right. Cool. So, what is your top thing that they did in the sequel trilogy?
All right, so my number one thing is from the first episode.
Okay.
Actually, wait, I have one more honorable mention I just thought about.
Okay.
Can I say it real quick?
Yeah, of course.
All right. When we saw Kylo get shot by that laser and he catches it midair and holds it,
Yeah.
that force use, we have never seen anything like that before. That was the coolest thing when we first saw that. We're like, what the heck is going on in this? Star Wars is bringing it, the force using to a completely different level. That scene, and he was talking and was just standing there, and then he let it go afterwards. That was amazing. So I wanted to mention that. I thought that part was really cool.
All
All
right.
right, so my number one thing though is when Han says to Chewie, "We are home," or "We're home." That for
Oh, so
me,
they brought the nostalgia back. That's your number.
yes, that's my number one thing is when they brought that nostalgia thing, and then right under that is like my least favorite thing is that they never had the full band in the Millennium
Oh,
Falcon, and we never will
yeah.
see that. That was that I know right to this day Disney hates themselves for never doing that properly. But besides that, Yes, I love that part. The nostalgia part. Even though we saw it in the trailer, I kind of wish we didn't in hindsight because
Right.
it would have made that seem more intenseful. But yes, I love that scene, and that always makes me happy, even to this day when I watch The Force Awakens. So that's my number one.
Cool. Cool. So my number one is something that I've talked about a lot in the podcast, and it's kind of related to what you mentioned earlier about the force projection thing. But my favorite thing that the sequel trilogy did was they introduced the idea of there being a dyad in the force. Um, I think that so I said that Kylo Ren is the best thing in the trilogy, but like that's just like a character, which maybe you could argue that because the characters it can't necessarily be the best thing, but like the dyad in the force, I think is the best thing that the sequel trilogy did because it is the only thing in the whole trilogy where there's one line of something that happens throughout all the movies that connect, and that's the relationship between Rey and Kylo Ren.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with the interrogation scene when Kylo is trying to receive tear information out of Rey's mind, but then something happens and Rey is able to read Kylo Ren's mind, and so we're like, "What the heck is that?" And then like she's super good at using the Force very quickly. Like everyone was mad about that. Like, how did she know how to use the Force so well at the end of that movie without having any training? Blah blah blah.
It awakened in her.
But it makes more sense when you understand that in light of what happens in the rest of the movies, 8 and 9, because in 8 we get a ton of that where they have those visions of each other where it's almost like they're being force projected into each other's minds or something, and they think they're actually there with the person, and
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, so now this is kind of building up, and then we get to episode 9, and it's even more of a connection where they have that saber duel where she's in the Star Destroyer and he's down on Kanjimi, and like they're like fighting each other, but they're in two different places, and their lightsabers are hitting, and the environments are falling into the other things, and it's like this is amazing. And then at the end, when she's able to pass on her lightsaber to him as he's fighting the Knights of Ren, and then he's able to use that. So it's like this line of how their connection is a dyad in the Force, and how Palpatine, he says we haven't seen something like this in generations, and like it's almost something that's been forgotten by the Jedi, where that might have been more common, where there were these dyads in the Force where you could share the Force with each other, and it was more than just feeling another person's presence. It was actually two people becoming one in a sense, where they could transcend space and time and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best. It's the only storyline in the whole trilogy that seems like it could have been planned from like all three movies were
Start.
planned. But we kind of it's not confirmed, but we basically know that they just planned one movie at a time and winged it.
I
And
thought that
so
was confirmed.
I don't know.
That was
Like
definitely no. That was definitely confirmed. Even after episode 7, JJ's like, yeah, I left it here because I don't know what they're gonna do next. So I just made my movie, and then he left.
right. And
So it was
so
confirmed that they had no idea what they're doing,
right.
which is I don't.
But it seems like if you didn't know that the Dyad and the Force theme that's through all three movies
Mm-hmm.
seems like it was planned ahead of time, that this is what's going to happen in this movie, this is what's going to happen in this one, and then this is how it's going to finish. And
Yeah,
it
I
makes
hope
it
that.
look like there was some planning it, but there wasn't. But that's why I
Yeah,
like it so much, because it actually ties the movies together very well. And
it helps. Yes.
it's not just like, okay, this thing happened in this movie, then this thing happened in this movie. and then this happened in this movie. Like, it was definitely one theme, one story that flows through, and it's something that's up for interpretation. Like, people might not realize that's happened in all three movies, especially in episode 7 with the interrogation scene. Like, that's where it started, and that scene is like one of the most important scenes in the whole trilogy, and people don't realize its significance. So, and that's why she can use the Force so well, because she is borrowing his Force ability and knowledge, and she doesn't even know it. It's kind of like muscle memory because they're a dyad in the Force. So
now, chat, maybe you guys can help us out. But that one, I don't remember if this was in it because I read the script a while ago. But that script that was leaked, that was the other director.
Episode 9.
Yeah.
Trevorrow, is that his name?
Trevorrow's. His script. My question is, was the dyad in that script?
I don't know.
If it's not, then clearly JJ just got lucky and designed this thing that.
Right. Well, there's a lot of stuff that I'm kind of mad.
Oh yeah, there.
The one thing that
Jerica said it is not.
It's not. Oh, it's not in there. Okay.
It's
so like, I still wish I could. I don't think I've ever read the whole. I haven't read the whole.
I read the whole thing once, but it was like when
what
it
I need to do is
dropped.
I just need to go watch like Star Wars series, like read through of it. But like the concept art for all that stuff was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I wish we could have got that because they were on Coruscant. Like, Kylo tortures Chewie. Like, that's super sad. Like, I want to see that. Chewie flies an X-wing. Like, what?
Jerica just said that they did an audio visual of it, and it's on Spotify, and you can listen to it.
Who did it? Like, just some fans?
I don't know. Jerica was a fan, or well, it has to be a fan,
right?
But I'm definitely gonna listen to that. Jerica, could you throw a link in the chat? That'd be dope. Yeah, even Will's like, I need a link to that. Yeah, if you could do that, that would be dope because I know I'm gonna listen to the at work tomorrow. But yeah, I just think like, yeah, I don't think
like
that they had a plan.
Like, the thing that J.J. Abrams also threw up in the air that Rian Johnson didn't grab onto was, if you just watch episode 7, it makes it sound like Kylo Ren has been searching for a girl and knows of a girl somewhere.
Yes.
Like, that's just a thing. And like, when that, like we mentioned earlier about like the officer that says like they escaped, he says, and there was a girl, and he's like, what girl? And so like, all my theories that I had going into 8 was based on that. Too. It was like, he knows of her, because I thought that she was definitely one of Luke's students,
or and that related in some way. Like,
no,
yes, dude.
I never was on Luke's kids thing.
Assumed,
but like, I definitely thought that she was one of his students, and that is why, like, she was like the only survivor, and like he hid her, erased her memory, so that Kylo Ren couldn't find her, or she couldn't leave or whatever. And I totally thought that's what it was, because he was looking for this girl that survived. And like, that's what I thought it was going to be the whole time, and that's why she knew how to use the Force, because once it awakened, it was like her remembering her former training. But we got the dyad in the Force instead, which I'm still happy with. But yeah. So that's our top 5 things the sequel trilogy did well. And we definitely had different interpretations of the top 5. And, you know, we like doing top 5s. And so give us suggestions on top 5 things. If you're in the Discord, we have a content suggestion section. And so if you have some top 5s that we haven't done yet, go right ahead. Like, that's easy content, a lot of fun. And usually those episodes, now that we have 2 people, we go pretty quick, because we're at an hour right now. And so,
yeah, it's not, if Andrew was here, we would probably argue about something, and it'd be awesome.
I remember, think about it. our last top 5 was top 5 trooper types.
Oh yeah, we did that.
That was last fall. That's the last one
Mhm.
we did. I don't remember it. But
Yeah.
yeah. So that's tonight's episode, but we still have everyone's favorite part of the episodes that we do, and that is the voicemail time. So let's transition over.
It's voicemail time.
All right.
Yes, it is.
So we're still going all out in this VCU thing that we're doing, but before we jump into that, we have some regular general voicemails first.
Omissions.
So we have
Wait, do we have an update? Any art came through? Nothing?
no art has come in yet, but there are people in the Discord saying they're gonna work on some things.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I still check the fan email every day to see if anyone's
All right.
emailed us anything. But we'll talk about that later. More about that because that invite or whatever you want to call it is still out there. So because we'll definitely need a lot of art moving forward.
Yes.
So that's definitely gonna be something gonna be on the table for
Couple.
a
It
couple
might be
months
like
at least.
a 1 year we go back and then all the art's finally here, and then we can actually put it together.
Then we have like
We should have like a watch party or something.
we should print a book of like all the arts and then like sell that for a merch thing. There's an idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
If you're a publisher out there, publish our book, our VCU book. All right. So before we get into the VCU stuff, we got 3 voicemails that are general ones, and then like a 4th one that's kind of like halfway between VCU and general because it's a behind the scenes voicemail. So it's kind of part of VCU, but not. So first one is from Retta from the Discord. So this is, I believe, her 2nd voicemail she's ever sent. So let's listen to Retta because she has an interesting question for us.
Hey, Empire Radio. This is Retta from the Discord. I'm just calling in with a quick question for you guys. Wondering if you know what your Hogwarts houses are. I know that's a bit of a crossover from Harry Potter, but didn't know if you happen to know. If you need a quick review, Gryffindor requires courage, bravery, nerve, and chivalry. Hufflepuff values hard work, patience, justice, and loyalty. Ravenclaw values intelligence, learning, wisdom, and wit. And Slytherin values ambition, cunning, leadership, and resourcefulness. So yeah, just wondering if you guys know what your houses are. Curious to know. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for the question,
Jerica
Retta.
in the chat said, Jeremiah reminds me of a Gryffindor vibes.
I don't know. Retta. She's newer to the podcast because she found us through when we were doing the Book of Boba Fett stuff. So I hadn't watched the movies at all or read any of the books ever. But then it was like end of last summer, they were all put on HBO, and so I binge watched them all for the first time. And then I I told that on the podcast. Like I was like, guys, I have an announcement that I want to say in the podcast, and like we were gonna do it. Then like we had to like cancel a week or something, and we had to delay it, and then I kind of do the thing out there like I binge watched all the Harry Potter movies because you guys always told me I gotta watch it and blah stuff. So I have now some of the knowledge of Harry Potter to inform my question. But Drew, what would you say is your house? Have you taken the official test?
I have never taken the test. Oh, maybe I have.
Because there's one that's like the official test that you have to like sign up for email stuff. I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Oh, sorry. Jerica said you're Ravenclaw. My bad.
True. No. So what would you say is your Hogwarts house?
I don't know. I want to say Gryffindor just because
everyone wants to be Gryffindor.
Everyone wants to be Gryffindor.
10 points, Gryffindor. It's just I always think of like stuff like that. Like Gryffindor is always like the face of Hogwarts. But I would say, based on the descriptions that Retta recited, I would say that Ravenclaw makes more sense, just because that's more of like the intellectual, studious
That's what
one.
Jericho said. So
Yeah.
there you go.
So I agree with Jerica. What you said, she said the Hufflepuff had, one of them had like loyalty. Like, loyalty is very important to me. So maybe that could be
Jericho
something.
said I was Hufflepuff, she thinks.
But deep down, everyone wants to be a Slytherin. So
Um,
just
I am.
because you have some bad
The thing
apples over
is,
there doesn't mean they're a bad house.
true. Well, and like Slytherin, what was it like? Busy worker or something like that? Is that what she said?
Can't remember. Cunning. Was cunning one of them?
I don't remember.
I'm sorry.
Should
Sorry,
we listen
Retta.
to it again?
We could listen to it again.
Let's just listen to it again.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I
Hey,
want to hear
Empire
the.
Radio. This is Retta from the Discord. Just calling in with a quick question for you guys. Wondering if you know what your Hogwarts houses are. I know that's a bit of a crossover from Harry Potter, but didn't know if you happen to know. If you need a quick review, Gryffindor requires courage, bravery, nerve, and chivalry. Hufflepuff values hard work, patience, justice, and loyalty. Ravenclaw values intelligence, learning, wisdom, and wit. And Slytherin values ambition, cunning, leadership, and resourcefulness.
Leadership.
So yeah, just wondering if you guys know what your houses are. Curious to know. Thanks.
Okay. I think I'm actually Hufflepuff. I don't want to be a Hufflepuff.
Whenever I think of Hufflepuff, I think of like Jigglypuff. Like,
yeah, like I do not want to, but those houses, like what those are, makes more sense. Like patience. I mean, have you met my wife? And then like loyalty and like bravery. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of closer to. But
Alright.
I'm gonna say Gryffindor just because I want to.
But I feel like there's qualities in each house that like
Yeah,
are
there's
important
parts
to
of
me.
it all. I think that's part of that quiz, right? Is that there is parts in all, and then your outcome is your outcome from the. We should probably take that quiz. Maybe we'll take it over the weekend and come back next week for you.
I don't know. Yes, yeah. Submit your email. I
Just
don't know about
submit
that.
Empire
don't
Radio
like-
fan email.
Use the fan email.
Yeah, just use the fan email. That's or use the Mandalorian podcast email.
Oh, all those old emails that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Thanks, Retta, for the voicemail.
Thank you. That was a good question. And
Yeah, and
the voicemails don't have to just be Star Wars. They could be crossover. You can quiz Jeremiah on Lord of the Rings characters. It's
I
his
don't know anything
favorite
about
franchise. So
no. But
Oh,
cool
okay.
thing about Retta is she just finished binge watching the Clone Wars for the first time.
Ooh.
So she's been posting like every couple days about stuff that she's watching.
She do it in order, like chronological.
I told her to do the chronological thing back like a month ago. So she did it, I think, in like a month's time. And so
I did that too.
she just finished it last night, I believe. And so she's like amazed. And so
yes.
now she's gonna do Bad Batch and Rebels. So
once
she's
you're
hoping
in, it's super smooth from there. It's just
she's hoping to get she's hoping to get everything done and watch so that she can actually listen to all of her episodes without being spoiled.
Ooh.
And so that she can have everything done before the Kenobi series starts. So
Before
I'm excited
Kenobi?
yeah.
Girl, you gotta work.
That's like six weeks though. So she finished Clone Wars in like a month, so she can.
My mind's all messed up because in like 3 weeks or like 2 weeks now, maybe I'm going out of town and then like May's already over and
yeah, you're doing that in like 2.5 weeks, but
yeah.
we still got like 6 weeks till Kenobi comes out.
Well,
so
it's
she has
actually
plenty of time.
2 weeks from tomorrow. I'm leaving, so
exciting. All right, so next voicemail is from Jerica. She has a question. So she sent us a question last week, and she had to resend. But I think this is a revision of her question because it's. But let's listen to Jerica.
Hey, Empire Radio. This is Jerica. Just wanted to ask, since yesterday was National Pets Day, What is your favorite Star Wars themed pet name? I currently have a fish named Ahsoka, and I used to have a snail named Sky and a different fish named Finn. So I have a
Aw.
lot that I like. I think my next fish will be named Ashla, but we shall see. Let me know what you guys think, and may the force be with you.
All right, thanks for the question, Jacob. So yes, yesterday was National Pet Day,
I
and
didn't
so
realize that.
in the Discord we have a pet section where you can just talk about your pets and post pictures. So I went in there, I added everybody, like, hey, it's National Pet Day, so post pictures of your pets. So we saw everyone's pets,
Oh man, I missed it.
and so what makes me really not mad but jealous, Cody, that sends in voicemails occasionally, is in the Discord, and he has a puppy Great Dane who has the merle culling, which is the light gray with the dark gray spots,
blue.
which is
Oh no, the like okay. Yeah.
and that is my dream dog, is a merle Great Dane. Like that's the one I want when I get a $500 million Powerball. And so like
Bro,
he
you
has one.
buy
So
that
Cody,
before
as your emperor, I command you to give me your dog. Because that's my dream dog. But
or breed it and then give him a puppy. He'll
yeah,
take that
so
too.
yeah, we saw all kinds of pets.
If Cody actually gave you a puppy, would you take it? Even though you don't have $500 million?
I can't take care of a dog. Like I'm just by myself. Like
I mean, you
can't leave that
can.
dog.
That's what most single people do.
Yeah, but I don't. But I'm gonna be gone. I'm gone for 10+ hours a day, and I don't want to leave
That's
it
most of the world,
by
dude.
myself. I'm sorry, I can't do that to a dog.
And Great Danes are like really good apartment dogs actually because they don't.
I know they don't need a lot of space, but if I'm gonna have a dog, I need to have like the time for a dog and the money for a dog, and all that jazz. So, but what was the question? Oh, names, like Star Wars themed names for dogs or for pets. And so if I ever got a dog, I always think like Rex is a good name for a dog.
Well, but that's like a dog's name already, though, right? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I've never met a Rex dog or pet. But
I think I've met a dog named Rex.
So she mentioned she has snails. And so when she was got her snail, she was asking the Discord what the name should be for like a Star Wars name. I told her to name them Snail Organa, and she didn't do it.
You didn't do it? Oh, that would have been perfect.
But Rex is a good name for a pet. What are other good Star Wars names?
Well, I have a Star Wars themed named pet actually.
Oh yeah, Drew's dog is Ahsoka actually. So
yeah. I have a pocket pit bull, and her name is Ahsoka, and she kind of has Ahsoka features, which is really cool too.
Yeah, I know like one YouTuber, he named his dog Kenobi and calls the dog Obi.
Oh, that's a good one.
So Obi.
I want to get Ahsoka a friend, like another pocket bully that's like blue.
Don't you have like an in-law that named their dog Thrawn or something like that?
No, I want to get a blue pit bull, like the blue gray color.
Yeah.
And name it Thrawn to go along with Ahsoka, because then that's like perfect. And I'll post a picture in the Discord of Ahsoka for you guys, because I missed that. But yeah,
make sure you put in the animal companions.
Yes.
Thread.
I think Thrawn's a cool name. Ahsoka, obviously, I liked. It was like I was thinking of only Star Wars girls' names at the time, and my wife said no to Leia, but then she liked Ahsoka, which is kind of weird,
right?
But yeah, if you see her features though, she has like different colors on her face around the same spot that Ahsoka does. But
all right,
Rex is a good one though, Jeremiah. I like Rex.
All right.
What if you named like a cat Boba?
Boba Cat.
Mm-hmm. But I just think of like a fat cat though when I think of like that.
But the fat cat is named Garfield, and that's not a Star Wars name. So,
do you think that Andrew misnamed his cat Cheeto and should have named it Garfield?
I don't know. I feel like it's been overdone. That kind of cat is overdone. I do
True.
like this a lot, but Cheeto, whatever.
Cheetos,
It's orange.
it's fine.
Makes
We'll let
sense.
it slide.
We'll let it slide. All right. So thanks, Jerica, for the question. Next regular voicemail is from Will. So let's see what he has to say.
Hey, Empire Radio, Will here. Oh boy, I'm out of shape. I'm just on my walk and thought of a question. What is your favorite type of movie? Like, my favorite is horror, even though it's gone down a slippery slope, if you will, in terms of quality. I think my second favorite is also, I guess, comedies. Ignore the car passing by. But I can basically recite line for line Happy Gilmore if you told me to. But yeah, hope you're having a good day today. And again, hope this spurs a long conversation.
Oh, you got cut off. You ran out of time.
A long conversation.
So favorite genre of movies is horror than comedy. So they're very similar. Not on opposite ends of the spectrum. But I don't know. I can say that I don't like comedy. Like that's definitely
really. I thought you were gonna say I don't like horror.
Well, I've never technically. I don't think I've ever seen a horror movie actually.
Did you ever watch? I don't think it's considered. I don't know if it's considered horror, but did you ever watch Get Out?
No.
I
So
don't
like
think that's considered horror though.
I don't know. Like I've never had a desire to watch. The only horror movie that I actually wanted to see that I never got around to was the It remake because it seemed like it was.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
I heard it's good, and it's. I felt like when I saw trailers, like it was.
It's not that bad.
Like, but like since I've never watched a horror movie, like I don't know how like it's gonna affect me dreaming.
Okay, no, Jeremiah, in the It franchise, both those movies, it feels there's a part of the movie that then the kids figure out who Pennywise is, and then it's no longer scary because they're not scared of the character. If that makes sense.
Spoilers, so now I know what happens. So now
no, you don't know what happens. But also, yeah, sorry if I spoiled it. But it's just a more intense version of Stranger Things feel.
Well, because the same kid is in...
Well, besides Mikey, besides Wolfheart, like besides that, like it actually has that kind of feel though.
Right.
Like a group of friends, kids, misfits, don't fit in, and then they have to face the scary monster, and it's just more violent. Like you would not be scared of it, Jeremiah. You would like it. I really like that movie. And the number 2 one isn't as good, but it's still pretty good. I grew up watching, which is kind of surprising, like secretly watching a lot of horror movies with my brother, my older brother.
Do your parents know that happened?
Yeah, well, in hindsight, yeah, like now they do.
I was like,
because my brother's still
your mom
really
listen to podcasts?
I don't think consistent. Yeah,
but
I was like,
she's like listening. What?
no, she knows because my older brother's like really still into them. Like he buys all the DVDs and stuff like that. So like some of them, like I used to watch them. I don't not the biggest fan of them because a lot of them is just like unnecessary nudity that is just like pointless. So I don't really like enjoy that part because it's like why, like whatever.
Right.
But my favorite genre movie style is probably like sci-fi thriller kind of stuff. Like I don't know, like Star Wars, like or I really enjoyed Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's like one of my favorite movies.
Really?
Yeah, I love the comedy of it and like the European parts of it. Like I enjoy that movie a lot, and it like at the time it reminded me closer to something like Star Wars in the sense of like sci-fi, and so I really love that. I like that movie a lot. So like yeah, sci-fi and comedy as well. Like I I can quote Hot Rod like crazy, or White Chicks is also a really good one. I love White Chicks. And I'm trying to think. Natural Libre is also a really funny movie. I like that movie a lot too. So I watch a lot of comedies because that's my wife's favorite genre because she can't watch anything besides comedy because she can't watch thriller because it stresses her out, and then obviously she can't watch horror because of the same reasons. So she just and drama. She likes like some. Her favorite. Okay, my wife's favorite movie is probably like Cheaper by the Dozen. No, I take that back. It's what's the one where like when they're like the two twins get separated. What's the name of that?
Parent Trap,
Yeah, that's her favorite movie. She'll
like the
watch it
Lindsay
on
Lohan
repeat.
one.
She'll watch that one and the old school one
do you
too
do you
on
remember?
Disney Plus.
Do you remember? So that remake, The Parent Trap, like the mom in there. Remember how she looked exactly like that lady from church that we went to?
Oh
We
yep.
grew,
Yeah.
the Ripley
Yep.
family, whatever.
Yep.
Like
Yep. Yep.
it looked
Yep.
exactly like her. Like she's like she was an actress. It looks like I remember that from that movie.
Yeah.
But
No. My wife watches like the old one and that one on repeat all the time. I'll come home and that movie will be on. I'm like, what the
really,
why? I don't know why.
that's interesting.
But yeah, so I have to watch a lot of comedy, and so yeah, I like White Chicks. Waterboy is a good one too. Will in the chat, yeah, that one's a funny
Waterboy.
one. I actually don't like Happy Gilmore.
Really?
I don't think that's like my go to out of. I like Waterboy a lot more, but yeah, yeah,
Billy Madison. You like Billy Madison?
it's okay.
Oh, okay. There's just some really memorable stuff, but for me, for
Yeah.
my genres, um, like I don't know, like I wouldn't say there's any specific genre that's like a go to. I just want a meaningful story to a movie. It's like it could be any genre technically,
Hmm.
but like
You just want something that grabs you and holds on to you.
yeah, like something like a mystery, like where it's like you're discovering what's going on in the movie like in a very meaningful way. Like you're like always wondering like what's gonna happen, why is this?
Like, did you like the new Batman?
Yeah, it was good. It's like
Kind of like what you just said though. It's like a
well,
mystery.
it is like I was interested in that, but like it's also like Batman. Like I'm not emotionally invested in it, so I guess like I need to be if a movie can get me emotionally invested,
Yeah.
that then I'm gonna like it, and so that can be any genre. Um, so like, have you seen Hacksaw Ridge?
Yes.
That messed me up, dude. Like that's such a
Yes.
good movie, and like it's so meaningful to like me on multiple levels. Like it's very personal, like in a sense. So like when it can like grab your heart and mind, like that's like kind
Yeah.
of what I want to
So
watch.
there's not like one genre that like, but I guess there's certain genres you don't gravitate towards because they don't have a lot of meaning.
Yeah,
For them.
comedy just doesn't. Now like I don't know, like animated show movies, like some of them are really good and like others are not that great. Like I feel like a lot of Pixar movies have gone downhill recently. Like
Like the newest one,
I didn't care
Turning
about
Red.
like I watched that one like the weekend it came out on Disney Plus. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like
It literally reminded me of like all of Stephanie's nieces right now because they're so into like BTS and stuff.
right.
But yeah, yeah,
um
I think the last good Pixar movie.
like I know you like Soul a lot.
I like Soul.
I thought that was terrible.
Why?
I did not. I never fall asleep,
I know we've heard.
and I fell asleep watching that, and I had to like turn it off and like turn it back on later. But like the last good Pixar movie was Onward. I really liked that.
I liked Onward. That was I was gonna say Onward was really good too.
But like
I was gonna say Soul and Onward.
I don't know, but Pixar movies just aren't as compelling as they used to be. I think it's because a lot of the environments and things are too realistic. It's too good looking, and so it doesn't seem like a cartoon. Like Soul is like that. Like the environments are all like photorealistic. And I'm like, I don't want that when I watch a picture movie. I want to be a cartoon. So, but yeah. So anything, a drama, mystery, action, it's all, as long as I can get drawn into a good story and get emotionally attached, that's what matters to me. So, all right. So here's a little behind the scenes type of thing from Lucy. And it's going to be, get you excited for her VCU voicemails for tonight. So let's listen to this.
Hi everyone, Lucy here with a quick message. I'm assuming Jeremiah will play this in the general voicemails before the BCU section, so you likely haven't heard my other voicemails yet. I won't give anything away, but I had a lot of fun recording them, and I hope you enjoy. Here is a very special shout out to my real-life little brother, Henry. He was very excited to be part of one of my voicemails, and he is the voice of the Resistance informant you will hear. This was his first time doing voiceover work, and he did a great job. Anything to say, Henry?
Yeah, I hope all of the 800 people listening to this will hear me, and I'll be famous.
He wants to be famous. Okay, have a great day, everyone, and may the force be with you.
All right, so that was fun. So we will hear from Henry in one of the voicemails from Lucy, so I heard her VCU stuff first because she submitted this one last. And so I was like, oh, who's this other voice? Like, I'm assuming this is like her little brother or something. So, hi, Henry. Hope you're listening.
Also, Henry, a lot of people in the chat are saying, so cute and you're awesome. So, there's already people. You already have fans.
If you're anything like your sister, know that you're awesome and amazing because we love Lucy here at Empire Radio.
Yes.
And so,
and also, we have more than 800 listeners.
So
okay?
that was like, where did he get this 800 from?
Let's make this clear, Henry. Chill.
So we got...
There's more.
So Henry, people are going to hear your voice. And, this was a top 5 episode. So we're going to get a lot more views and listens on this one than other episodes. So, Henry, you're famous now. And maybe we'll hear from you in the future, too. So thank you, Lucy, for giving that little shout out for your little brother.
Will in the chat. Yeah, 100 or 801.
Yep. All right.
He's the number one. There you go. Right there.
All right. So now we just have 5 voicemails for the VCU tonight. Now.
That's it?
Yes. But here's the thing. So I've listened to these because I make sure what order of things need to be played and stuff. But we might have had our first major continuity issue.
Oh, no.
Now, I can argue why there wasn't a continuity issue. Okay. I could do that to save it.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
We'll just do that. So we're going to... So these first 2 are from Will. And they are to be played back to back. It's kind of like... He ran out of time and then had to finish with the second one. So I'm going to play...
So it's like episode 7 and 8?
Yes.
Back to back? Okay.
This is volume 1 and 2 of one voicemail.
Okay.
So I will, once the first one is done, I'm going to immediately play the second one. And so it's going to be like an extra long single voicemail in a sense. So it's 2 from Will for 1 long voicemail. So let's hear what Will has to say. No, we should probably do a little recap from last week. So last week, Thrawn knocks out Dakai, Lucy's older brother, and says, Lucy, I need to recruit you because we need to create an alliance with the Resistance to help fight the Gungan Grand Army because they're attacking Thrawn's people, the Chiss. And so he wants an alliance. And so he's like, if you join us, I will free you from prison. And we also learned last week that Valen Doss, the defector from the Empire, is not a defector. He's just trying to get into the Resistance to get information and to find their hidden rebel base and relay that to the Empire / First Order. So that's where we left off last week. So that being said, let's listen to Will's email or voicemails.
Hello, Empire Radio. Will here. As you know, I am in a prison cell. It is not fun, but apparently somebody thinks it's comfortable in here. Yes, you did. How are you complaining that you're hungry? What do you even eat? Now, that makes sense. Wait a minute. Lucy! Please! Please let me out of here! I'm sorry. I won't play the Reigns of Camino again. Please! Just let me out. Wait. Who is that? Hello, Will. Who are you? Get away from me! Ah, a lightsaber. From a more civilized age. Now please, turn it off so we can discuss terms. Okay, well, why should I trust you? Well, I have Lucy, standing right here beside me. What more trust do you need? If I didn't have trust in any of you, you would all be dead. Now, let us talk terms. I need your help.
All right. So,
Yes, Will
Thrawn
has a lightsaber.
Yep. So Thrawn and Lucy arrive at Will's cell and enter, and Thrawn says he needs Will's help. And so Will has his lightsaber, which we know of already, and Thrawn's not scared of that at all. He's just turned it off. And so there's that. And so we know that now Thrawn is trying to recruit Will's help. So that's what we got from
Part
Will. That's I played both of them. So that's
that was 2. Okay.
Yeah. So interestingly, this is now where we're gonna go to Lucy stuff, where there's gonna be somewhat of a continuity issue, but I think we can make it work. And also, hopefully, that Thrawn theme music wasn't too loud because we might get demonetized on YouTube for that. But we haven't gotten demonetized at all for any of these music backgrounds yet in the VCU. But this one was a little long and loud, so we'll see if we're good on that. But that being said, let's listen to the first voicemail from Lucy.
Hi everyone, I'm starting to panic. With Thrawn's help, I've gotten Poe, BB-8, and Valendos out of their cells and into an Imperial shuttle, but we can't find Will or BB-22 anywhere, and Poe refuses to let us leave without them. Wait, what's that? Out the viewport. Is that them? Why does Will have a lightsaber? What does he think he's doing waving it around at all those stormtroopers? I'll go get him so we can leave. Will, what in the galaxy are you doing? Where did you get that lightsaber? First the rain on Camino noises, now you're keeping secrets? No, don't make excuses. Get in the ship. Put the flashy laser sword down. Poe, let's get out of here. What do you mean it's a tracking device? I took off the tracking device 5 minutes ago. How'd that one get there? No one's been in the ship except us, and none of us would want the First Order to track us to our top secret resistance base. Right, Colonel Doss? This is so weird. Poe, get that thing off and let's get out of here.
All right, so there's a little continuity issue because in Will's voicemails, Thrawn and Lucy broke Will out of his cell, but here it implies that they couldn't find Will to break him out. But I'm gonna say that something happened between these two voicemails where Will got separated and then they wanted to leave. So I'm just gonna say that, and then she said like, why do you have a lightsaber when she already knew that? But we'll
she's still annoyed that he has one.
Yeah, so I just think it's funny that like Lucy, the character, hates Will so much in these voicemails. It's just funny. She's just annoyed. Like, is that them out there? Oh gosh, let me go get them. Blah blah blah.
So where's Thrawn?
On the ship with them.
So is he a good guy or a bad guy?
He's not good or bad. He's just.
Oh yeah, because he's teaming up with. Okay.
he just needs help from the Resistance to fight against the Grand Gungan army. So that is voicemail number 1 from Lucy. So here is VCU submission number 2 from Lucy.
I'm back, everyone. We made it safely to our base, and Colonel Doss is being so helpful. He's telling us all the First Order secrets, although so far we haven't heard anything from Palpatine's communication channels he gave us access to. In fact, we haven't heard anything on any of the channels he gave us access to, but I'm sure it's just one of those days. To express my gratitude, I should have had to pull the fire alarm and put the whole base on lockdown. Bringing the Colonel here was the best decision ever! Sorry! I'm in a meeting with High Command right now. We'll have to be quieter. Oh, we're getting a message from an informant.
General, the Grand Gungan army and a species called Nicardoon are overwhelming the Chiss. The First Order are sending forces to the same battlefield with Darth Daddy and Nusa the Apprentice. They're driving an organization known as the Mandalore Resistance with them.
Oh no. With all the factions heading toward the same place, a huge battle is about to happen. We have to do something to stop them, or we're all going to war.
All right.
Darth
So,
Daddy.
so Henry, that was your acting debut, and you did a great job. Because
Henry, that was really good.
like because I heard that before I heard her behind the scenes thing. I was like, who's this other voice? Like, is this? I assumed it was like her little brother or something. So yeah, so Henry did a great job, and so we got a lot of information in this voicemail. So I should mention, I forgot to mention last voicemail, but Lucy was like, we removed the tracking device, but here's another one. Like, where is this coming from? And it's definitely Valen Doss is putting a tracking device on there for them. Now, here we get information that Valen Doss opens up all these communication networks or whatever, so they can kind of, I think she's saying, to spy on the Empire / First Order's communications, but they haven't heard any information or transmissions or anything. So he's opening up these lines of communication, which they think is a one-way thing, but it's probably a two-way thing where they're hearing what they're saying and getting information from their secret base. So that's not good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of rough. So we're getting worried because now if the Empire knows of their location, we're going to get a big war going out. But then, like, we hear that, the Gungan army is attacking the Chiss and Darth Daddy is out there doing work and stuff. So Darth Daddy lives on. And so there's that. And so now let's hear a voicemail from Lucy, but this is not just from Lucy. This is from someone else that we've heard from before. So let's listen to this.
Hey, Empire broadcasters, or whatever you're called. Look, it's Dekai, and before you jump to conclusions, no, I do not listen to or like your podcast. But ever since I woke up in prison a week ago, there has been nothing to do. And I've heard that sending in voicemails can be entertaining. This is all Lucy's fault. If she hadn't ran off with wild notions of peace and helping people, I wouldn't have been assigned to find her and eliminate whatever threat she posed, and then I wouldn't have been knocked out by a blue guy. Why? Just why? Why did you leave, sis? Why didn't you stay where you were safe? Why can't you accept that the galaxy is changing? You were always the stubborn, optimistic one. I knew that was going to get you in trouble. I just didn't think I'd get sent to deal with you. If I had known they were going to make me kill you, this is a waste of time. I'm deleting this recording. Since no one will ever hear this, I'll just say, I'm sorry, sis, for everything.
Man, we're getting some drama now. So Dekai,
you know how intense would have been if Lucy's little brother would have read that? That's Dekai.
But so Dekai is Lucy's older brother, who is a Mandalorian who is sent to get Lucy to come back or to kill her. But obviously he has been torn by that command by the Mandalorian leadership, and so he's fearful for her and worried about her and hurting inside. So this, the
At
tears
the end
flowing,
of the day, this is the way.
This is the way. So I feel like maybe Dekai is going to defect now. Maybe he's going to join the Resistance. Maybe more Mandalorians are going to join the cause or something like that. So that is all the voicemails we have.
Mm.
And so I feel like coming up, there's going to be some big drama, big fighting, big battles, big war break out. And so we're probably going to hear stuff about the Gungan army. We're going to hear
Yeah,
stuff
I'm
from.
surprised. What's his name didn't send in a voicemail.
He messaged me. He's like, I didn't have time. Sorry.
Oh,
he was like,
okay.
I could just write you a letter, a VCU letter that you can read. I'm like, nah, just send a voicemail. So, but I want to know. We still got to know, like, the 17th brother found a Jedi on whatever, some kind of Gungan Jedi that could influence the Gungan army, I feel like. And then, but we also have Valen Doss doing his stuff, so the Empire's going to show up pretty soon, probably. And I don't know. It's gonna be a compelling story. So I don't know if this means we're getting close to the end of the story or not, but I'm excited to see how it plays out, and if we're getting some new voice actors like Henry, I'm excited for that.
True. Henry, shout out to you.
Yep.
This episode's dedicated to you, and hopefully all these 800 plus listeners will find you one day on whatever social media platform you do your acting on, and you get famous.
And it's gonna be great because someday when you're famous,
you can pay us.
you can give us a shout out too.
Yeah.
And then it'll be all great. So, yeah. So a lot of drama again this week from the VCU. And so that being said, we're going to remind everyone who has been sticking with us through these VCU voicemails that last week I made a challenge to all the fans that if you are an artist, if you can draw well, paint well, CGI well, Lego environment well, stop motion well, that you could create these scenes from these voicemails. And then I can take those images or videos and then lay it on top of these voicemails. So when I put them all together in one chronological story on YouTube, we can have a visual story as well as not an audio story. So if you send us an email to empireradiofans@gmail.com, you can submit your artworks for the VCU. We got a lot of scenes that you can draw, so you can do any of them, all of them. We want to have them in. So obviously these take time and whatnot, and this could take months before it all comes together. But that's the challenge. It's going to be an ongoing challenge until it happens. And if I feel like in 2 months we have no submissions, then maybe I'll figure something else out. But this is a fan creation. So the voicemails are by the fans. And so I feel like it's appropriate that the visualization of the VCU is by the fans as well. So again, empireradiofans@gmail for your submissions. Or if you're in a Discord, you can just send to me in private message. So
yes, sir.
But
sweet.
But yes, so just go to if you want to look for our social media and everything else, links.co/Empire Radio, links with 2 I's, and that's a landing page for everything: Discord, Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz, and the needlesslynerdy.com network that we are a part of. And you can definitely find us more on there and subscribe to everything. Find us on YouTube because the rumor has it that there might be a reaction video from Drew coming up soon.
True.
That's not
Star Wars related. Yeah. So. There's a rumor. So you have to go on YouTube and check it out. There's been other stuff on YouTube as well that isn't necessarily just Star Wars. So and I have a couple videos that I keep needing to edit, but life is kind of crazy right now. So but I'll be getting to them, and so you'll just have to go over there and subscribe to see some videos. Also, speaking of videos and other things, me and Andrew and Tanner will be going to ICCC Con, and we will be there that first Friday of the last Friday of this month, which is the 29th, and we'll be there the whole weekend on the 30th and the 1st in Nashville, Tennessee. So if you are in the Nashville area or are planning on going to this ICCCCon, if you're there, make sure you try to hunt us down and say hi to us. We love to see you guys out in the wild. And so we would just love to hang out with you guys too. And we are also on the 30th, we will be doing a live podcast on site there, me and Andrew. It's gonna be really cool. We have no idea what we're gonna talk about yet, and so that will be posted live on their YouTube and their Facebook, and that'll be around 3 o'clock. And we'll post links and all that stuff on our socials as well when that happens, so that you guys can catch us live on there if you aren't attending. But we do want to keep letting you guys know that, so that if you guys are there, just come say hi. We love to hang out with you guys and see you guys and talk to you guys in the flesh. So Jeremiah would be there, but he's busy. So, but there's always more cons and stuff like this too that we will most likely be going to in the future as well. So, yes,
Yeah. And definitely, even though it's a little further out, we kind of mentioned it, but Star Wars Celebration is coming in like 6 weeks or so. And that's when Kenobi series drops. And so we'll be doing
a lot.
3-4 episodes that weekend of stuff. So definitely set your clocks for that, because it's gonna be a crazy weekend.
Yes, it is. It's gonna be a wild ride. So buckle in.
Yep. So anything else, Drew, you want to talk about?
Nope, that's it.
All right, cool. Well, you guys have been listening to another sequel-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.